Connor and Hank were at Jimmy's bar, taking shots, well, Hank was, and watching the Detroit Gears play. Carter's missing all his shots, that's fucking weird, Hank pointed out, his words slurring as he got drunker. Connor nodded. Yes, I know. The last time he played, he scored 53% of his shots behind the three-point line. Observant motherfucker, aren't you? Hank says, giving Connor a little friendly shove. Connor responded neutrally. Yes, I was programmed to be this way. Despite his seemingly robotic words, he said it in a sarcastic tone, smirking at Hank. Smug bastard, Hank remarked, raising an eyebrow at Connor. Hank put his head down on the bar, and Connor leaned closer a bit, concerned. I'm gonna go call a cab. I think you've drunk enough for the night, Connor told him worriedly, and he got an automatic cab. He pulled Hank outside, who protested for a while, but eventually gave up, not having enough strength in him to actually get out of Connor's grip. The cab arrived, and they ended up home after a few minutes. Hank said something ineligible because of the slur he had in his drunken state, so Connor disregarded it. Connor helped Hank out of the car, who began to retch as they were barely at the door. He puked on himself a little, and then grumbled about how he drank too much. Connor gave up trying to help Hank walk and picked him up, carrying him inside. Once he put down Hank and is certain that he could actually walk, he let Hank go, and he immediately moved out of his grasp. I'ma go take a shower, Hank slurs, stepping unevenly into the bathroom. Connor then thought to get him a change of clothes, and before Hank got naked, he quickly shoved the clothes into Hank's arms. Embarrassed as the man was barely clothed, only in his boxers, he retreated into Hank's room. Hank grumbled and, oh yeah, thanks, and closed the door. Connor decided to wait in Hank's room, wandering around the room and observing the messy environment. There were clothes all over the floor, and there was a half-eaten burger on Hank's desk. His computer desk? Connor curiously walked over and clicked the mouse, waking the computer from sleep mode. Connor doesn't know the password. What would a hard-boiled, eccentric police officer use as his password? He thought to himself. Fucking password. Bingo. Connor opened the browser and nearly recoiled at what he saw. It was a ghetto porn site, and the video Hank was watching. Oh, RA9. It was a porn video, but it wasn't just normal porn. It was a video of a female eating fecal matter from another male, while 3 other males urinated on her. It appeared to be what you would call homemade, with the poor lighting, and holy fucking shit, is that Gavin? Connor shook his head and played the video. He focused more on the video and less on the details in the background, as he would usually do. He felt heat that he has never felt in his crotch before. His stomach pulled as he paused the video and tried to find out what he was feeling. Nothing arose, so he turned his safe search off. Oh my fucking RA9. Plenty of erotic shit immediately came up, but the first automated response was that he was aroused and he had sported an erection. He looked down and surely enough, he saw a tent in his pants. He looked up at what he was supposed to do, as he wasn't programmed with this knowledge, and did some sort of research. Once he was sure he had gotten it down, he closed the windows he had opened on the computer and played the video once again on Hank's computer. He slowly sneaked his hands down to his pants, and he had to keep himself from making noise while he touched his genitals. He bit his lip as he began to stroke his length, paying plenty of attention to the video, but also paying attention to his own dick that he had barely even knew he had. He felt something building up, and right as he was about to release, Hank walked in. Connor? Hank was behind him, mouth agape and a face deep shade of scarlet. Connor backed up slowly from the man, who now wore a smirk and an almost proud expression. Didn't take you long to go prowling around, did it? Hank's eyes went down to Connor's erect and red-tipped penis. Connor pretended not to notice. He also pretended not to notice that Hank himself was growing an erection in his pants. So I guess that means you like what you saw. Hank grew closer, grabbed Connor, and pinned him to the wall. He fondled his ball spit and grinned. I don't think we should do this, Hank. You're drunk. Despite this, he was getting even more hard, if possible, at Hank's touch. Nah, Con. Shower sobered me up. Now get the fuck on your knees. Connor complied and bit his lip when Hank pulled down his pants, that he had only just put on probably less than 15 minutes ago. Hank shoved his cock in Connor's face, and Connor licked his lips. "Suck," Hank commanded, and Connor did as he was told once again, wrapping his mouth around Hank's dick and swirling his tongue around it. Putting his hand up and gripping Hank's dick, he eagerly shoved it in his mouth and moaned when Hank's massive 6-incher reached his tongue. He was barely past the tip when Hank shoved his whole penis inside of Connor's mouth, since Connor doesn't have a gag reflex. "Oh, fuck, Connor!" Hank swore his name like it was a prayer as Connor hummed on Hank's dick. Dear God. His sensors warned him of an invasion, but he continued to swirl his tongue around Hank's dick. The sensitivities on his tongue continuously picked up that it was Hank. This just made the experience better for Connor, who would want nothing more than Hank's massive cock in his blessed mouth. However, Hank had more in store for Connor. Connor's sensors detected a strange liquid in his mouth. Is this semen? What Connor thought was semen turned out to be urine. This aroused Connor more than the video Hank had on his computer ever could. Hank moaned in absolute pleasure as he released his piss inside of Connor's mouth. Piss began to drip from Connor's mouth and down to his chin. Connor swallowed every last drop of the piss. Its flow finally began to slow a little. Hank pulled his huge cock out of Connor's mouth, and Connor stifled a whine of disappointment. Hank's dick was covered in piss and saliva that Connor had never tasted before. Connor's mouth had salivated a lot with how wide it had been stretched. "Thank you, Hank. Before he could continue, Hank pushed him onto the floor. "We're not done yet," he smirked at the brunette, who now had his ass exposed in the air. Hank removed Connor's shirt and tie and removed his own clothes as well. It didn't take long for Hank to slowly begin to thrust inside of Connor's tight asshole. His tip pierced Connor's tight anal cavity, and Hank's dick began to throb inside of Connor's ass. Connor enjoyed every inch of it. Hank started to thrust faster and faster, earning cries of pleasure from Connor. Hank, my heating systems are detecting a drastic rise in body temperature. What is this, Hank? He inquired between moans. It means you're enjoying it, Connor. Now shut the fuck up and let Daddy Hank do all the work. He grunted as he continued to pick up the pace. Connor then began to feel a warm sensation in his penis. It felt better than anything he had ever felt before. It felt better than any human emotions or feelings an android could ever experience. He then began to feel something erupting from his penis. He looked down. It was a big, yellow stream of piss. It sprayed all over the bed sheets and formed a puddle under Connor, also spraying all over Connor's legs and chest. Connor felt another sensation, but this time it was coming from his rectum. He felt something tight but huge start to squeeze out of his ass. Shit, Connor, Hank moaned out, looking down at the brunette who looked like he was having the time of his life in a puddle of his own piss. A piece of shit began to squeeze from Connor's ass and into Hank's penis, slowly but pleasurably sounding Hank's cock. Hank began to moan uncontrollably and began to thrust harder, which only forced the massive piece of shit deeper into his cockhole. Connor, too, also began to experience enormous amounts of pleasure coming from his rectum and penis. They both thrusted harder, Connor ramming his asshole onto Hank's penis at a faster pace, and harsher, too. Hank thrusted faster and faster, and the piece of shit was literally inside of his penis now. "Connor, get on your back," he commanded in a gruff voice. "Yes, sir," Connor said eagerly as he sprawled out on his back, with his hands and legs in the air. Hank then put his cock to Connor's tip and thrust it inside. Connor's penile muscle was completely open. Hank thrusted faster and faster, and eventually released inside of Connor's dick hole. "I'm coming!" he moaned ecstatically. "I'm coming with you, Hank!" Connor screamed out, and his own semen drove Hank's penis out of his dick, his cock erupting from Connor's dick hole, white and brown. The mixture spewed all over the floor. Shit. I don't want to clean this up. You do it, Con. The fucking slave you are. Connor happily complied, and eagerly devoured the mixture from the floor, looking up at Hank for approval, and tilting his head a bit like a puppy. Hank smirked. Good boy! He patted Connor on the head, and walked away to get cleaned up, leaving Connor naked on the floor. Mission successful. Hey guys, first of all, I want to say if you watched this far, I'm sorry, and thank you for giving me full watch time. Secondly, I've provided links to the original work in the description and also the social media of my friends who helped write this piece of trash. Thanks for watching, subscribe and shit, or don't. I really don't care too much. You're probably gonna be fucking traumatized for the next week or so. See ya.